Has there ever been anything like this done before on this scale?
There's never been anything that I know of quite like this, and there may never be again. I don't know.
Honestly, it's nothing short of amazing. Pat Metheny and his drumming, air-blowing, whirling, musical robots. A one-man band like you've never seen before.
All they want to know is, what do you want me to play? When do you want me to play it? How loud do you want me to play it? And when do you want me to stop?
I see.
So, I mean, essentially, you know, everything I play, it's following me very quickly.
It's a whole new way of making music that starts with a little boy growing up in Missouri.
By the time I got to be 10 or 11, the last thing on earth my parents wanted me to do was play the electric guitar, which made it irresistible to me. So.
And Metheny's playing became irresistible to audiences. He's become one of the world's leading guitarists and has won 17 Grammys. When he sat down with the late Billy Taylor for a Sunday morning interview in 1986, he had already established two other things: his hairstyle and a fascination with electronic music.
Yeah, one thing that I've been experimenting with lately is just taking animal sounds and seeing what they sound like as musical instruments. This is one, it's a donkey, which oddly enough has a real blues. He's a pretty funky guy, that donkey.
Sure is. Oh, he's got the natural blues
Yeah.
break in his voice.
But Metheny always wanted to do more than just make cute sounds on a computer. That too, you can trace back to his childhood.
My grandfather had a player piano in his basement, and as a little kid, I used to just make a beeline there, and it's always been fascinating to me, and that fascination has never gone away.
As an adult, Metheny became fascinated by orchestrions, all-in-one instruments that were popular 100 years ago. And that's where this story really begins. Metheny decided to put together his own state-of-the-art orchestrion from scratch, with no guarantee it would work, let alone make beautiful music. A cross-country scavenger hunt led to an avant-garde robotic instrument maker named Eric Singer, working out of the basement of his house in Pittsburgh. Singer supplied his proudest creation, the Guitar Bot.
Can't really call it a guitar, can't really call it a robot, because it doesn't look like either of those things.
Metheny also called Ken Calkins out in California. Calkins has spent the last 4 decades making fantastic automated instruments at his company called Ragtime.
He needed a bass guitar, and he didn't have one. He was desperate, and he called me up and said, "Ken, I need one right away."
But still, something was missing.
Tell me about these bottles here.
I realized I had all this stuff that was like smacking and hitting and plucking and keyboard type things, and didn't really have any air. And I'd always loved the thing of like when you blow across a bottle, you know, that sound.
An old family-run company in Chicago called Peterson had just what he needed. They make parts for pipe organs and electronic tuners. But just for fun, they had made a handful of what they call bottle organs, which literally blow air across the tops of bottles.
Most have been built out of beer bottles, but we've done them with wine bottles and also vodka bottles.
Pat Bovenizer says they faced another challenge.
He wanted a bottle organ that he could tour the world with. We had never done that before.
These instruments especially are just beautiful. I mean, you know, that sound of having like polyphonic, you know, really hip chords. It's such a great sound. And it, you know, it responds to what I play beautifully.
As instruments arrived, Metheny assembled them in a small room in his Manhattan apartment. then moved it all to an empty church to rehearse.
That's rocking.
There, Eric Singer watched with a mixture of pride and trepidation as Metheny put his prized guitar bot through its paces.
Man, the thing is robust, though. That it can hang with that is just a miracle of engineering, really.
And finally, after all the dreaming, building, and composing, and after recording it for posterity, it was time to put Orchestrion to the test. On the brink of a worldwide tour, Metheny admitted to some jitters.
It's scary. It really is. The few hours that I actually do sleep at night, I'm not sleeping. Mainly because of the amount of moving parts, because I know there will be nights that things don't work.
The night we saw him in London, everything was working perfectly. A sellout crowd heard not just a stage full of robots, plus one exceptional guitarist, but a musical experience exactly as its creator intended. But then, at the very end of the show, it happened.
This is the moment that would keep me up all night. This is it.
No, the bottles didn't break, and those guitar bots behaved themselves. In fact, the Orchestrion worked flawlessly throughout the tour. But on this night, there was an electrical problem in the theater.
And when that happens, solo guitar, baby.
That's it. Hey, solo, Pat Metheny unplugged.
Yeah, it could come down to that.
And so it did. The Orchestrion was temporarily silenced, but Pat Metheny's guitar was still working just fine.